That's Clay's absolutely pushing it, but look, Pokemotion Rider's coming through now. This is going to be nip and tuck on the line. Now to Clay's putting under pressure. I think he's going to do it. It's 2.2 kilometres to go. The game of chess is starting. Is it cat and mouse? There's a little bit of a trail off the back now. He could be losing a few riders as Leonardo puts the pressure on. He's riding at 39 kilometres an hour on plus 1% grade. Welcome along. It's a West London VR Race Wednesday. You're here with ZMS and, of course, West London VR Race organising themselves. Today it's the round of Pennsylvania. What's Pennsylvania got to do with West London? Probably not a lot, but these races are mostly set just outside West London, and the grave of William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania and the city of Philadelphia, is buried there. He actually died in poverty despite setting up a very, very prosperous new lands, I suppose, American state, later to become part of the USA. But there it is. So we're going to go past his grave. Now, what have we got in store for you tonight? Well, it's exciting as ever. We've got the Ladies League. Now, we've got a new team in the Ladies League tonight. NZ Pro have put in a lady rider, so that could shake things up a little bit. But this is the Ladies League after 3 races. Now, remember, they have to race 6 races, and it's the 6 races that go into your total. So if you do 10, they take you the best 6 and so on and so forth. Now, we're at race 5.4. There's 13 in the series, so therefore we've got 9 races apart from this one, so 10 races including this one to go. So anybody can clock up 6 races still in the ladies contest, so it's wide open. But at the moment, at the top, we have Wendy Wonderwheels leading the way on 3 races. She's from New Zealand and is riding tonight, I believe. Danielle Gaunt has phoned in sick, so to say. She WhatsApped me earlier to say that she's not well, as did Lisa Snell. So 2 of the top 3 are ill on the sidelines, I'm afraid. Judith Newton is in, not feeling great. Griselda's in today. I believe Jessica's going to race as well. Ellen Lockett's definitely in. Now, I think the interesting battle here is between Ellen Lockett in 8th and Caroline Reuter in 9th. And the NZ Pro rider will enter the fray today, and we'll see how she does against those 2. Now, looking at the overall classification, which includes men and women, Thomas Williams is the new kid on the block, really threatening this series from NZ Bro. NZ Bro, new to the series, and they really are very well. Look at them. They've got Michael Tom in 7th and David Oliver in 9th, and there's plenty more of them. Aaron Blakely in 24th there, you see further down. But it's Wouter Clays, Thomas Williams, a new guy, and the names underneath that are ones we all know and love very much. John Sammet, of course, from Pokermotion. Tom Gates from the Netherlands with his draft team. Jan Linden from Pokermotion again. So Pokermotion looking good in the team category, which we'll have a look at the moment. Ned Bowen in 8th, Peter Austin in 9th. Fantastic positioning for Peter there. David Oliver, another NZ Pro rider, in 9th, as we've mentioned. There was something really wrong with him. Oh, that's joint 9th, isn't it, with Peter Austin? Sorry. 11th, Thomas Poniatowski for Moon Riders. Moon Riders in 1st and 11th, as you can see. So all to play for in that. We have a teams competition. We have 2 actually. One for overall, one for mixed and overall, and the other one for the ladies. So Moon Riders, as I said earlier, are doing very, very well. Now, Moon Riders and Pokermotion have got one hell of a competition going on. It's not as tight as it was last time. I think NZ Bro, Tumiki and Parched Daz may move up the rankings a little bit, and Tom Gates' draft team showing exceptionally well. So I think that top 6 right down to Glasgow United, well in with a shout now. So that when I say top 6, it's actually 7 because there's a joint 6th between Ratio Racing, Nick Greenhouch's team, watch out for him, and Glasgow United. Looking at the Ladies League, it's getting ever closer. I think Smile On might be well placed today. They've got the strongest team out. West London missing some of their riders tonight, I can tell you. Mainly because that's my team, so any bias is inevitable, I suppose. I know we've not got our strongest team out for West London tonight, and we'll see what happens. But that could get very close between Smile and West London. Don't forget NZ Bro with the ladies' team in the mix. Now, this zooms down a hill here, so you can see, look at the profile at the top. It goes all the way down across the bottom of the valley. At the bottom, you can see the railway line, which is sort of Max Valley. Then goes up this hill and across, and that is 1 lap. Now we're going to do that 3 times. If you're wondering where William Penn's grave is, if you look at the top left hand corner of the map there, it's probably just on the left there, towards the bottom of the slope. So just one last look at this before we change screens. You can see where the white dot is at the end of the yellow line. That's a finish. Now the start goes straight down a hill, turns right along the bottom of the valley. You can see roughly there's a railway line just above it which marks the valley. You turn right again, uphill all the way, then flat across the top. Now when they get to the finish, this is one of the things that catches people out. You can't quite see the finishing line until you're really on it, because it just twists around the bend, and that will be interesting. That has caught riders out before, and in fact I have a feeling that the legendary Jonathan Crane actually got caught out by that one. So I might be wrong, I might be doing Jonathan an injustice, but it certainly has caught riders out where they misjudged the sprint to the finishing line. So look out for all of that. So here we are, 45 seconds into the race. They're off, and Webb for New Zealand, one of the NZ Bros, another one going in front there. So quite a cluster. Well, I think this downhill, I mean, you're looking at 43, 44. I mean, I think that might even speed up a little bit more down this hill as they go. Tom Gates for draft on the front, Kevin Unsworth in 2nd place, Ellen Lockett in 4th, the First Lady, making the most of this downhill. Ellen, a very strong rider, I can tell you, not only in these short races, but on Saturday I did a 200-kilometre ride with a few people, of which she was one, and I think she spent more time on the front than any of the rest of us. Absolutely phenomenal. So look out for Ellen. I think it is essential to get into this downhill. You know, it does split up into groups in the downhill, and if you look at the bottom of your screen, along the this is Tom Gates' data coming out here, just blocking the bottom of the screen, but there we are, 421 watts being put out, a cadence of 99, so he's spinning quite fast at that cadence, and this is downhill. If you look at the top right hand corner, you can see the gradient is just under 1% negative, and they are, as I say, eventually going to get to the bottom, turn right, and then it's dead straight. But it'll be about the climbs, I think. Cole Dickerson for South Africa New Zealand, Sands team in 4th place there, just behind Jan Linden, Pokermotion. And these are names you'd expect to see at the front. Kevin Unsworth, Nick Greenhalgh, Wouter Claes tucked in there, Ned Bowen. This is an all-star lineup. So Gunnar Gurgel, the NZ Pro, but they've only entered this for the first time, so we are not as familiar with their riders as the ones who've been riding these races seasonally for quite a long time. You can see just at the back of this peloton, it's thinning out. People are getting dropped off on a downhill, and it just shows you the effort these guys are putting in. Danny Stein in there, I see. One of the Danish riders now here, Koltoft, is in the lead, just pulling away. They won't get away. Carl Dickerson chasing down for South Africa, New Zealand team. Danny Stein, teammate, just behind him. I wonder if Johan Olofs's in this front group as well to make up a trio for Team Sands. Sands standing for South Africa, New Zealand. Certainly see there. Pete Kennedy in there. We see Gurgel again. And Norwegian flag. I assume that's a Norwegian who lives in New Zealand as Webb takes up the rein. New Zealand, of course, this is the summer, so for the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of people now taking the opportunity to ride outside with the New Zealand guys. They're getting up at 4:30 in the morning to do this, which I think is amazing, and you have to take your hat off to NZ Pro for putting out a team like they do. Leonidou from Italy is at the front, 466 watts, just getting joined by one of the 3R riders, I think there, Murto, sorry. Tom Gates in third place for draft. So, as I say, we'll have a look at the bottom of the screen in a minute. Now, you can see it's reasonably flat, and they're just all on this hill at the moment. You can see the gradient is plus 2.2. Now, this hill isn't particularly steep. The bottom bit is the steepest bit. The biggest white blob at the front of those blobs going along the profile is the riders we're on, which will be the front of the peloton. Mike Tong there for NZ Pro. Just taking up the lead. 1.7, it's never particularly tough. There's slight steps to it. The bottom bit is the steepest, then it's a bit flat, and you can see the three brown stroke orangey sections as they go up that hill. So it's quite long, but never steep. The point is, I think lap 2 is where where riders are tiring, where they can get dropped, but I still think this hill is going to be what decides the race. Now, there's nobody straggling off the back of the peloton at this moment. They're still going uphill at 1.4%. Nobody straggling off the back, which shows you've probably got some fairly well matched riders in this peloton. And as I say, nobody's seemingly dropping off the back. They're not quite at the top, but they're nearly there, and it is getting quite shallow at 1.1%. And they will turn right and start going flat. Aaron Bleakley, another one of the NZ Pro. The NZ Pro in that black kit, and just look how many black kits there are at the front of that peloton. Now, for the first time, it is thinning out a little bit. They've got to the top of the hill. I think there's been an attack on the top of the hill. They're going up to 41, or about 40 kph. I think there's an attack on the top. Leonidou now, and Tom Williams for the NZ Pro taking up the charge on the peloton just behind Leonidou, and Leonidou putting out 6.2 watts. That's quite high. There is a rule in this that if you finish in the top 10 with over 5 watts per kilogram, you will be asked for an e-passport to qualify. Tong now on the front, well, third place behind there. So we just, I think they did seem to drop a couple of riders at the top of that hill. I don't know whether they caught. No, I think they probably lost a couple there, thinned it out a little bit. Now this is the name of the game, it seems, in this series, as Yann Rocher takes up the lead there, and the Swiss, and I'm assuming that's a French-speaking Swiss, so probably around Geneva. I could be wrong. As I say, I think lap 2 is going to be the decisive one, and they are turning now, and they've gone into that minus. They're on that descent again now. So this again, attacks on the descent. It's not as easy to keep up on a descent as you may think, because if somebody's powering at the front, yes, you've got the advantage of going downhill, but you've still got to match their power, and this has thinned it on a descent. So interesting times. 4.89 meters, just coming up to 5 kilometers. So it's 5 kilometers. We're about a third of the way through the race, 15.2. So Wouter Claes now at the front for Moonrise. Wouter, of course, leading the series at the moment. Aaron Bleakley for NZ Pro, and Leonidou getting it out the front. We just have to watch the watts on Leonido. I think 5.1 at the moment. This is high, and it does have the possibility of being a little bit too high. So I think he needs to probably make sure he's got an e-bio passport, because that might be a result that we're not including. So we'll see that. We'll see at the end of what his average power is. But if it's over 5, we want an e-bio passport, because that is not normal for these sorts of races. David Oliver now, another one. NZ Pro shown at the front in absolutely loads of them. They are really putting on some power at the front here. Gurgel, another one of them going forward. We're looking at Leonido still 5.5 watts. That's just like nobody else's, and I think Leonido is facing disqualification or subject to the provision of an e-passport, because those figures are just too high to accept, I suspect. Let's see. Still on 5.2. It's unnatural. It's wrong. So that, unfortunately, is another example of somebody spoiling the race for everybody else. Now, you may wonder, it doesn't really matter because I can disqualify that person, but the reality is that it upsets the dynamics of the rest of the pack. So we don't really stand for it. So Leonardo is going to be disqualified, subject to an appeal with an e-bio passport. So don't worry too much about him, and let's have a look at the rest. James Melville in there, tucked in there in 24th place, representing Glasgow United, and James very much in 6th place at the moment. There's 7 people in the top 6, if you do the mathematics. That's because places 6 are tied. I just saw a West London jersey in there. I've got a feeling that's Ellen Lockett, and Ellen absolutely mad at me the other day when I did a commentary and called her Emma. So I'll make sure I call her Ellen all the way through. Danny's staying up there. Jonathan Crane in there at 8th place. Now, Jonathan Crane is an e-cycling legend. He's moved up to 5th there in the green, putting out 162 watts. He's making the most of the peloton there. But Jonathan is an absolute legend from Birmingham, Alabama. Does plenty of podcasts on YouTube and is an absolute encyclopedia of e-racing. Well worth subscribing to his YouTube channel. We haven't seen Jonathan in one of these races for a little while, so it's an absolute pleasure and always an honour to have Jonathan Crane in your race. So let's see how Jonathan gets on. I'm sure he'll be streaming this as well, so after you've watched our stream, go and have a look at his and you'll get perspective and narration as he does it. Ned Bowen often transmits as well, as does Tom Gates, so you can actually see it from the rider's perspective as well. This is thinning. Ned Bowen at 200 watts. Ned's very good at sitting in. He's probably the best we have at timing sprints, although this season hasn't gone as well for him as it has in previous seasons. He is a former champion. We're in Series 5, remember, so he's a former champion, always done well, and been up there in the top 3, but had a few miscalculations and injuries and things like that have not made it the best series for him so far. So he's languishing a little bit lower down than he normally is, as we look at a phenomenal bit of power off the top by Murray Craig, although I think that's probably genuine, I would suspect. I'm not so... depends how consistent it is, but certainly putting out some power at the front. This is obviously, along with Aaron Bleakley, this is obviously an attempt to get off the front. Somebody stranded there that they've just overtaken. Looks like somebody with a mechanical, which means they've lost power, drop out, some sort of connection. And who have we got coming up the front now here? It's Ned Bowen in that red kit of Team Draft, along with Tom Gates. Very strong lineup, this draft team, with Tom and Ned in it. Aaron Bleakley for NZ Pro. NZ Pro 2 off the front now. Gurgel and Bleakley, they are working together, and I think this could be a break. 6.7 kilometres to go. We're over halfway through the race. They're going up the hill. It's an attack on the hill on lap 2, which is kind of what I was expecting. And you can see Jan van Beurs now, Ratio Racing, chasing down alongside Ned Bowen, Craig from South Africa, Nick Greenhalgh in 5th, Jonathan Crane in 6th. These are star riders. Wouter Claes, who's leading it, Jan Samet, his main rival in the series, all in there. Tom Williams from NZ Pro as well in the mix. James Melville for Glasgow United. There's a little group emerging here. This could be where it becomes decisive. Wouter Claes putting on the pressure. 4 Moon Riders at the front. Will this group form an elite and get away? Ned Bowen in there. This is a very, very elite group. And if they can separate themselves from the rest of the peloton, race on for these guys. And these are main contenders alongside Jonathan Crane. In Mike Tom trying to bridge the gap there. This is going to be hard though. Look at the gap. It's Hammond now chasing up. He looks like he's going for it. He might just get there. 25, it's slightly come down. He's got it down to 19. Hammond's going to bridge the gap. But what about the others behind? They are not. It's Matt Hammond now. He's going to get on the back. Will he exhaust himself doing so? Slightly on the uphill gradient as we go towards the end of the lap. But they're about to do this right-hand turn. You can see now they do the right-hand turn and it gets flat. If Matt can get himself on there, and I think he's going to, absolutely phenomenal. Well done, Matt. Absolutely brilliant piece of riding to get yourself into that group. So we have a group of 13 now, and there is a big gap between the others. Will the peloton have the power collectively to catch up and make up this distance, or will the pressure go on the front? Somebody in the front group needs to put on some pressure, because I think the gap is slimming. It's appearing to slim. It's down to under 20 now. Leonido out the front again, but I'm not too sure that we're going to accept. We'll have to look at his data afterwards. Gurgel, Melville going off the front. The rest of that little group need to do so, because they're otherwise not going to make the most of that little gap they created on the hill. It's narrowing now. What's going to happen? They go through the start line, so we're on the descent for the final time. This could be decisive. And remember, we've watched in the first 2 laps that people have put the pressure on down the hill. I think the second group are catching the first. It's going to merge, but it's very, very strung out, so it's not a clear peloton per se. There's still a minor gap between the 2 groups. It's not big, but when I say there's a big gap, it's probably only the front chasers that are really getting off that second peloton. So what's going to happen next? They're still on this descent. It's only 0.5 minus gradient, but you put the pressure on and you make everybody else have to work on a downhill. You can make the gaps getting bigger between the in fact the group 2 is disintegrated, I think, in the chase. A couple of them likely to get on, and they've done well, absolutely superb. So this has boosted it up, probably about 15 riders now in the front group, but I think this is decisive. They're going to turn right shortly and go along the bottom of the valley before that final climb. The gap is now too big for Peloton 2, I think, but they need to work hard to maintain this up the front. They mustn't get slack. No playing cat or mouse towards the finish, and I think we're still going to see attacks on that hill on the way back up. Leonardo putting out 5.6 watts per kilogram is not going to be the winner of this race, I'm pretty sure. So we look at Girdle and Wouter Claes going off the front, and these are the real riders. So just ignore Leonida, who we don't, is not going to be allowed. The output is just too big, too consistently. So Wouter Claes is now leading this group. You can see the gap to the second peloton is now enormous. So what are we going to do? Let's see what's going to happen next. Now you can see along the bottom of the they're on this valley now, and what we're really waiting to see what happens is now they'll act as a group, I think, along this valley. You're going to see them hit the brown section. So we're looking along the bottom of your screen at the moment. They will get to that brown section, and I think that's where it's going to explode. Remember, the hill up to that, there's 3 little sort of kind of brown orangey sections at the bottom. The third one will really sort of dictate when they start having to decide what they're going to do next. They'll do that right hand bend that we saw in the last lap, and then it will probably be about who goes when. As I say, I think there's a danger that people will miss the finishing line. So Jonathan Crane in there. As I say, I seem to remember Jonathan misjudging the finish a little bit last time he rode on this course. So I wonder if he's seen this as a bit of unfinished business and has remembered what it's like. Because if he does, that could be explosive. Who we got in there? Craig Williams from NZ Pro, Østergaard from Denmark, Jonathan Crane, James Melville, Wouter Clays, Matt Hammond. These are all good riders. This is going to be quite a finish. We're looking forward to this one, and not a lot to be said. They're heading up towards, now you see the if you look at the bottom again, the big blob there, which is what we're looking at, this is the group we're looking at. They're about to do this right hand turn and straight into the climb. They're up to 1.4%, and that's it. That's the right-hand turn, and Craig has taken advantage of this. Now, he's gone at 4.1%. This is the steepest bit. You can do some damage here, but it evens out, and a peloton working together can catch you. Is this too early? Wouter Clay's chasing it down with Girdle and Aaron Bleakley for NZ Pro. Tom Williams in there as well. They're going to make up the gap. Craig hasn't made it stick, but the gradient subsides to 2.2%. Nevertheless, it's stringing out. The pressure at the front is really hurting some of the group. So this is stretching the group as NZ Pro put on the power at the front. Craig goes for it again. Aaron Bleakley is the NZ rider. We have John Samet for Poker Motion in there. And of course, oh dear, this is absolutely fantastic. Stringing out, everybody's working hard. 40 kilometres an hour. It's 1.1. They know they've got one more little bit of a ramp. That slightly softer sort of orangey section we just got coming up. Then they'll do the right turn, and then it's every man for himself to the finish. I say every man for himself. I don't think there's any women in this group. Love to know where Ellen Lockett's got to, because she for so long was in the front peloton before it split. What's going to happen next? James Melville pushing off the front. He likes to do this. John Samet, who's vying with Wouter Clays for the series, but Wouter Clays pushing in front of John Samet. Will John Samet sit in and bide his time and wait for the straight flat bit? Oh, this is so exciting. Who will misjudge the finishing line? Just lost a couple of Tom Gake's off the back. I'm surprised at that. Tom Gake's not quite in this group. Will he make it up on the flat? He's a strong rider, so don't discount Tom at any time of a race. But I think that gap might be a bit too big for him. Ned Bowen in there, Matt Hammond, Yarosh, John Samet, Oh, this is fantastic stuff. We're down to a handful of riders. How many have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 11 riders, maybe 12 in this group, all going to fight for the finish. They are on the flattish bit now. It's only 0.4% positive. They are effectively now fighting for position, and there's a dozen riders absolutely sitting in there. I wonder if they're going to play cat and mouse now and see who does what. Now, there's the right bend. That starts the finishing straight. They're about to lap a rider. This is lap 3. I guess the rider about to lap is on lap 2. I'm not sure who it is. I've got a feeling that might be Jessica Wright, actually, because I recognise the kit. And when we look at the guys at the front, and is it Craig again? No, Jurgville, the Norwegian rider. James Melville up there. They're pushing. Jonathan Crane just slipping off the back a little bit. Don't discount Jonathan, though. He fights his way back on. This is a charge. It's gone for it. Somebody's off the front. It's Craig again. He's been the most aggressive rider throughout the race. 280 metres to go. But he's chased down by Matt Hammond, and Jurgel have taken the place. Matt Hammond looking like he's going to get the win. Or is he? Who's coming through here? It's Wouter Clays, the series leader. Wouter Clays, can he just hang on here? Absolutely. NZ Pro going to have to settle for second and third. What a sprint from Wouter Clays. Absolutely amazing. What a stunning race this was. 14th at Leonardi. So we won't be asking him for an e-buyer passport, because we only do that if you finish in the top 10. So well done you. Hopefully Tom Gates in 15th. Jessica Wright, as I said, that's who that was. Jessica absolutely loving these races. She's not too worried about position, but she absolutely loves taking part. One of the Southpaw guys coming in now. I'm just trying to see who that was, actually. Yeah, Julian Fussell. If you're down in Kent or Sussex, Julian Fussell as Thomas Poniatowski for Moon Riders just coming in. Now, if you live down in Sussex or Kent, just south of London in the UK, Saturday, June the 11th, Southwood District Wheelers are having a Tunbridge Wells Cycling Festival. Julian Fussell, who you've just seen racing, is the guy organising that. So if you can pop down to Tunbridge Wells on Saturday the 11th of June, please do so and support Julian's thing. Stefan Kruger coming in now, Webb coming in now, another New Zealander. I'm guessing not riding for the NZ Pro because he hasn't got the black kit on. So Wouter Clays, Jerdal, Shell, Jerdal. Thomas Williams was the NZ Pro rider taking third place. So NZ Pro getting second and third. Carl Dickerson for Team Sands. Got to mention Pete Dickerson couldn't make it tonight. Oh, and I did promise. Oh, Ellen Lockett coming in. Where are you coming in, Ellen? I want to see what happened there. I did say that I would mention Chris Ackers, who's not racing tonight, but he's watching in. Chris Ackers from Watford. If you are watching, and I did say I'd give you a little mention, and well done for riding with us on Saturday. Great to have your company. We all absolutely loved it. So Murdoch and Leo now coming in. Just trying to see where Ellen finished. She's 37th. I think she'll be quite pleased with that. That's a pretty decent ride. So look out for some of the lady riders coming in now. Number 18, Secure the Bag. I'm not sure whether there's a real name to go with that or not, but I suspect that your parents didn't call you Secure the Bag. Lynch coming in for NZ Pro there. Emmons coming in at 41st. So let's have a look on the right hand side as we look at David Buckley, a good friend of mine from down there in Surrey, coming in 42nd place. But let's have a look on the right hand side as we see more and more riders coming in now. Pete Kennedy there, one of the I'm just trying to think the name of his team now, but Pete Kennedy, great rider. I think he's with Glasgow United, isn't he? Or am I getting that wrong? Sorry. Anyway, let's have a look on the right hand side. Scott Yarosh, new rider, coming in 4th. Very well done, Scott. Matt Hammond charged off the front, was absolutely superb, but pipped for 5th in the end. Very sad to see that happen. Great riding though, Matt, really enjoyed that. James Melville, evergreen as is Nick Greenhouse. Murray Craig, who did so much on the front, the South African, absolutely brilliant. As we see Tom Alsop and Lee Van Reeth coming in. I don't think it is Lee, but I like to say that. Jonathan Crane at 9th, so I think that might be a little bit better than Jonathan got the last time, but this was a very different race to last time. Ned Bowen at 11th. John Sammett will be disappointed with 10th, given that Wouter Clays got first. These two very much vying for the series. Aaron Bleakley, another strong NZ Pro rider in 12th. Anders Oostergaard just pipping Ilri Leonida, who we won't be asking for. A couple of West London riders coming in there. I think it was Baz Mystery, I think was one of them, or Bavesh Mystery, sorry. We have two B Mysteries in the teams. I think it was Bavesh Mystery. I didn't catch who the other one was actually. It was, Rafa Nunes, the Ecuadorian. Rafa, well done Rafa. Going back to this thing on the side, Tom Gates at 15th will be very disappointed with that. Got dropped by that front group. Julian Fussell at 17th. Remember Tunbridge Wells Cycling Festival on June the 11th if you live in the south of England. Was just behind Salvo Caruso. Secure the Bag. We've mentioned Van Roche 19th, who we assume is the Geneva-based Swiss. Jorgen van Beurs for Ratio Racing, Nick Greenhouse's team. So Ratio with 2 in the top 20. As we have a look at Reese coming in, the Portuguese, coming in 58th position. I didn't actually check how many were on the start line. Wendy Wonderwheels from New Zealand coming in for Team Smile on the ladies team, currently in 2nd place in the ladies league. So 61, she'll be bagging some points for them. Ladies get extra points as we look along at the right. Mike Tong just beating Andrei Krajewski and Snaver 23rd. Jan Linden Pokemotion 24th. Thomas Poniatowski for Moon Riders at 25th. Boss Daly, David Oliver, Paul Budell for OTR. Stefan Kruger, one of the Sands riders, just beating Grant Webb there into 30th place. As we look at Kaltoft, the Danes actually, RGT is very big at Wahoo. RGT is very big in Denmark. And Kevin Unsworth for Glasgow, Kevin Unsworth isn't Glasgow United at all, is he? Team Cameron is the one I was trying to think of. I think Pete Kennedy was Team Cameron as well. Johan Olofsson, who is part of the fabric of this, a good friend and helped design some of the contests in this. Just pipping another friend of mine, Andrew Beale from Ealing. Danny Stain, 34th. Carl Dickerson at 35th. As I said, Pete Dickerson couldn't make it tonight. Ingmar van Beurs, Ratio Racing, but I think riding for Westerly. Just pipping Ellen Lockett riding for West London VR. Our ladies team, 37th. Very, very impressive. Just ahead of Sean Murto, Thomas Leo and Stuart Lynch. Another NZ Pro. So I'm thinking Ellen Lockett looks like the winning lady today, and we'll get 100 points in that, but we shall see where the other ladies finished as the results come in, as we watch Mike Buckhurst from California, Coco Maisie, Colin Stewart just coming in there. And going down, the next lady I can see on the list is Judith Newton at 45th, another West London VR rider. So if that's the case, this is a good result for my ladies team. Jerome Emmons at 41st, David Buckley down there in Surrey hitting 42nd, as we said. Mike Wareham. I'd have expected Mike to be higher than 43rd, but well done, Mike. Gordon Jackson from OTR as well. I know he's been riding this week because he's Keijo coming in at 69th is a lady rider who hasn't ridden with us before, so great to see her. Lisa West there, fantastic, at 71st, is riding for Twickenham ladies. Great to see you back, Lisa. I did speak to her earlier today, and we were hoping that Lorna Rowland would be with her. I'm not sure if she did or she didn't. She's riding with them, Lonahan there, battling out for 70th and 71st place. Going back to the list on the side, Judith Newton, 45th. I think that's the second lady, West London VR again. Harry Smith's Facebook friend to anybody that has good friends on Facebook, top bloke. 46th, Pete Kennedy, 47th, mentioned Thomas Allsop, 48th, Luke Van Reeth, who I will probably spend the rest of my commentary career calling Lee Van Reeth, wrongly of course, 49th, just in front of Ivo Liebrecht. So 50 riders in so far. Lisa West just pulling away in 70th place. This would be a great result for Lisa if she can just make this one happen, and she has. Well done, Lisa. Great riding. Lisa was telling me that her real lifetime trial times have been improving from riding on this. Caroline Reuter for Smile On is the third lady, I believe, and that's 51st, just ahead of Pavesh Mystery, who rides for West London VR men's team. That's a good result, actually. He's beaten Rafael Nunes, so I'm very impressed by that. Ama Amra there is 53rd. I don't know Ama. Tellery Reese, 55th, the lady rider for NZ Pro. If we watch Griselda Bulgarian coming in 72nd. Griselda's fantastic. She rides lots and lots of races, and she does other races during the week, so I don't know how she finds all the energy. She's from Spain, of course, and she's piling in at 72nd. But back to the list, we have Kevin Frost, Mike Lightfoot, Pedro Reese, Tony Sinnott, and James Cheeseman making it up to 60th in there. Particularly impressed Pavesh Mystery. That was a good ride, and I know you rode yesterday as well, and quite strongly, if I may say so. So well done, Pavesh. As we watch Griselda now with 200 metres to go, a lady in Spain who's just going to pile in at 72nd, and I think there's not too many left to finish, so we'll probably I'm just trying to think. It's just Jessica right after this, isn't it? So Griselda just putting in a couple of points for Smile On ahead of Jessica, and here's Jessica, who has got 1.1 kilometres to go. As I say, I know Jessica doesn't particularly mind too much about her position. She just loves being part of the great competition. 69th is, I'll just have a look there actually. 69th, we missed that. Sorry, we missed something here, haven't we? Yeah, 69th, Kat Giles. She's another lady who Lisa West coming in 70th. Kat Giles is a lady for Slovenian lady who's new to the races as well, so she'll be included into the results later. Bill Sullivan at 67th, working upwards. Wendy Wonderwheels at top of that list, 61st. We did mention Wendy. Wendy's absolutely fantastic from New Zealand. Rides to Smile On, and she's very, very involved in all of this, and is quite an influential figure on the whole e-racing scene, so big it up for Wendy. Yossi Kaltoft at 62nd, beating The Portuguese Miguel Silva ahead of our Californian Brit, 64th Mike Butthurst. Great to see you, Mike, as ever. And Robert Gilmore picking another one, but just picking another one of those guys you love to see in the race. Coco Maisie, Colin Stewart from up there in Scotland, top bloke as well. Bill Sullivan at 67, Gregor Hazer at 68, Katja, new lady on the block at 69th, just beating Jessica, who's wearing, you can all enjoy and admire the West London VR kit, Jessica riding for us, and just pulling in at 73rd position behind Griselda and M. Lanahan at 71st. Well, this has been a fantastic race, and I think it's going to be well worth watching that finish again. That was absolutely phenomenal. Lovely shot of Jessica's back, and 200 metres to go. We have to say, How to Clays leads this series, and with finishes like that, you can't argue with that, can you? Absolutely phenomenal finishing. I think that was a very exciting race. The way that broke up on those hills, which is kind of what we expected, but at the same time, it was very much... it was well executed, wasn't it? It was absolutely cracking stuff. Jessica making up the places. Only 73 finishes today. We did have a few cry off. Certainly out of my team, West London VR, quite a few missing today, which I knew before we started because they were all texting me to hand in their apologies. So only 73 finishers, but what a great race! And brought to you, of course, by Wahoo RGT, the platform, and our great producer Damon Bates from ZMS, who brings you just superb coverage. It's like watching real life racing, isn't it? Anyway, thanks very much for being with us. West London VR, of course, is every other Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. time in the evening in the UK. So it's 2 weeks from today, and if you're watching it later, it won't be 2 weeks from the day you're watching. So you need to just go on the westlondoncycling.com website and check out the dates, or you can, of course, check it out via Wahoo RGT's own platforms. It's been absolutely phenomenal. This is only race 5.4. Oh my goodness, we've got 9 more to go. It is getting so exciting. Can John Sammer make up the deficit after losing more ground to Wouter Clays? The reigning champion is in front. See you soon. Thanks for watching.